What's the weight of an amplifier tell us? This great question comes from Bimor, L.U. Bimor. I gave it a good try, from Bulgaria. And he writes, after a month of hunting on eBay, I won an auction and got a pair of sexy speakers. Ooh la la. Canton Ergo SCLs. Very nice. So far, so good. Now, the thing is, I power them with some leftover amplifiers, which is a Techniques. And I found that product in the house after my brother left it. And according to my friend, who also advised me about the speakers, beware of advice from friends. The following amp is a waffle compared to the speakers, and I should get something better. He warned me that with a low-power amp, it's easy to destroy my speakers, and that I should get something more powerful to achieve more dynamics. His simple advice was look for something heavy, something over 14 to 15 kilograms, which is, I guess, 30 pounds or so. I learned from you that specs might be something very relative and don't necessarily ensure fulfillment from the amp. But really, does the weight tell us something? And should I expect that a 15 kilogram or 20 kilogram amp will somehow sound better? What a great question. And I tell you why it's such a great question, because all the time we in the industry get judged on what we call audio by the pound. You know, if it weighs a lot, it's got to be something good, right? And think about it yourself. If you're in a store and you look at two items, you pick one up and it weighs nothing, and you pick this one up and ooh, yeah, heft. I mean, look at this amplifier. It's actually a power plant, but that's okay. It's in the same chassis an amplifier would be. Look at this. I mean, oh, crapola. This thing weighs 95 pounds. It has to be good. Has to, right? The more it weighs, the better it is. And here's, what is it? This is a preamplifier. Same thing though. Let's just look at this. Like, I mean, it weighs 15 pounds, 20 pounds. Not as good as this. Well, you can kind of see where this is going. No, weight doesn't necessarily tell us much about an amplifier, but we can learn a few things. We're out here in the engineering department, and, well, oh, actually, here goes one of Paul's famous deviations from the thing. And with apologies to Ohm's Law listeners, we're looking at a big board here. And in engineering, we have multiple projects we try and keep track of. So you can see, for those of you on YouTube, that we have the principal engineers. We have quite a few engineers. There's Bill and Tom and Jordan and Darren and Kevin and Chris and Barry and Bob and Murph and Chet and Matt and Maggie, who is the project manager. And so all of these engineering people have a group of tasks, and depending on the color of each of these tasks, these are what they have to get through for a certain period of time. And all these red ones are where they're running into roadblocks. So every morning, everybody meets up here and tries to solve the roadblocks. And engineering is complicated. But anyway, I digress. So what can we tell? Well, one thing we can tell is how well the chassis is built. So our products, in general, whether they be preamps or amplifiers, are pretty heavy. I mean, if you do the knock-knock test, they're stout, they're heavy, because we build our chassis pretty stoutly. We don't like thin, resonating top covers and bottom covers, and we like a firm, heavy chassis. But while there may be some minor sonic differences, let's just say there aren't. The circuitry inside of here, pulled out and put onto a cardboard box, is probably going to sound the same as if it's in this big, heavy, sturdy chassis. Not so much in this one. This one is heavy because For one thing, it has a huge number of heat sinks on the side. I mean, these heat sinks probably weigh 15 to 20 pounds, as much as he was told to look for the entire amp, because they're made out of solid metal. They're extruded aluminum. And then the chassis, and then there's a big transformer inside. So one thing we can learn is, depending on the construction, the architecture of the circuitry inside, we can tell a lot by the weight. What can we tell? If this were a Class AB amplifier or a Class A amplifier in a more traditional style of power amplifier, we'll need lots of heat sinks. Why? Because we generate lots of heat. And in order to do that, we need a big transformer, and we need big heat sinks, and we need lots of capacitors. And so, yeah, you can tell quite a lot from that, but you can't tell wattage. This size amplifier, were it 100% Class A, would probably only give you 50 watts. But it would be huge, because 50 watts of pure Class A generates a whole bunch of heat. If it were a Class D amplifier, a properly designed switching amplifier, that weighs next to nothing and yet can put out 1,200 watts. So you want to look and find out what's the technology behind it, and then make a judgment as to whether it's a WIMP or if it's something you want to own. So in general, yes, you can tell something about amplifiers, but probably not their quality, performance, or wattage simply by their weight. So your friend, he's right. You don't want to underpower those speakers, because if you clip it, you can damage the tweeter. But I take that advice with a grain of salt. If you have questions, now I know you're in Bulgaria, so you can always email us. If you have questions, call our hi-fi advocates. We've got people all the time, just 800 PS Audio. Call us. Hey, my friend told me that heavy amps always sound better, and we'll steer you right. We've got people up here, and you don't have to buy anything from us. Just call up 800 PS Audio. Email us. You can email me, paul@psaudio.com. Anyway, just reach out to us. We'll be glad to help. You're part of the hi-fi family. Okay, thanks. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.